we're going to get the show started. My name's Stephen Hoffa. This is the Standing Still Podcast. We're super glad to have you guys. Thanks for listening again. And I got two great guests here today. I've got Susan Castleman and her sister Paula Castleman.
Hello.
They are my cousins, and they are just absolute sweethearts. Oh. They have a YouTube channel that is doing better than mine. I will argue. It's kind of a, but we'll see. We'll see.
It's very competitive.
Now, it's doing better than mine, and it's not only that they're my cousins. It's kind of how I got the opportunity, but I think it's a great. I mean, even if you weren't my cousins, I'd be stoked to have you on the show because what you guys do on the show, I think, is pretty cool.
Oh.
What basically they do, and I'll kind of read my version of your mission statement, and then you guys can correct me afterwards because I know I'm going to screw it up.
Okay.
But okay, so they go to different thrift shops, different Goodwills, things like that. You guys find that stuff that's like just uber cheap that looks like a pile of junk, and then with your crafty you guys fix it up and you turn. I mean, on a very limited budget, I might add. It's not like, hey, we threw $200 at it. Now it's a nice piece of furniture.
Oh heck no!
It's like, hey, we spent $7 on this thing.
More like $3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything over 5, we have a little.
We
heart
cringe.
attacks.
We
go, can't do it.
Yeah, we break out into cold sweats.
Well, and that's kind of where our catchphrase comes from. Is our husbands will say, "Are you gonna babushka something?" We're called the Babushka Sisters,
Right?
And our chiefness has created a kind of like that kind of term, like, "Oh, we're gonna babushka it," because we spend as little money
It's been
as possible.
babushka'd, like we babushka'd your bookshelf. And
Right.
your
So
TV
okay,
stand.
that's one of the big things. I was like, hey, let's do a kind of a, a cross world dealio. Here we go. So I had two pieces of furniture that would like literally just stuff was piled on, and they're pieces of crap. I felt kind of bad because I knew it when I was giving it to them that they were pieces of crap.
Well,
So I gave them, and I'll put pictures, but I gave them a gray bookshelf and
Particle board,
like just
I
as
told
plain
Paula,
as you can be.
driving over,
Particle
said,
board
"It
is the
better not
devil."
be particle board." And Paula goes, "Oh, Stephen wouldn't give you particle board."
he
Of
wouldn't
course
do
it's-
that to
Of
us.
course, it's gonna be particle board. You kidding
Not
me?
just one item, 2 items, particle board.
This is a trust building exercise, and I failed. Okay, so here we are. No, but so I gave you guys, super basic bookshelf, particle board, and then I gave you like this really old TV stand that was like the finish was bad. A lot of the glued on wrapping finish
It was
off.
a swivel TV stand, one that you put your color
Fancy.
TV on, because you used to either have the option of color TV or black and white TV.
I didn't remember that.
Yes.
And it was
Anywho.
wide. It was definitely for
It was heavy.
for a heavy duty TV.
Yes.
You
you,
guys,
Stephen.
nobody's ever gonna doubt me or doubt this show that you guys are sisters because you can just talk together and it's super
Oh,
great.
speaking
Sorry.
of that, I was worried that anyone listening just on the podcast and not watching the YouTube,
Yeah.
if they would even know who's talking, because we'll answer the phone sometimes and people
Yeah,
will say,
I know.
I don't know who I'm talking to. Is this Paula? Is this Susan?
I know. Should I talk with the accent so
I'll
you can
talk
tell
like this the
difference?
rest of the podcast.
Deal.
No, deal.
You guys wanted? I can just take off if you guys want. You
You're
guys are doing a
good.
good job. No, so we did this whole thing, right? You guys came over, yada yada yada. You guys, we did the big reveal. Open up the garage door. Here you are.
That was
These,
so fun.
That was
I want a
fun.
garage door in every
I
video.
know.
Nice garage door, Stephen.
for a small fee. I might be able to provide that for you guys.
You are hurting over there,
Yeah.
standing still.
Let's not take
I'm
shots.
close enough to her to whack
4
her
minutes
for
and
you.
20
I will.
seconds into the
Very
podcast,
good.
okay? No, so, okay, we did this big reveal, yada, yada, yada. I gave him a bunch of crap, okay? I knew it was crap. I mean, I even dusted it off for you guys. I put in
I saw
the
that.
effort.
I
okay?
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I went through like a whole can of pledge on those things, 2 things.
I can
Like,
imagine.
it's pretty bad.
I would have just took a hose to it.
Or a
There
dumpster.
are some footage on our videos of us just hosing down our items.
Really? Okay. Well,
Oh,
okay.
you haven't seen it?
You pledged it very nicely.
I haven't seen it.
Let's let Stephen talk.
I'm sorry.
This is my studio, ladies. Okay, these are my microphones.
I'm
Got it.
listening.
No, I'm totally getting. We're having a good time here. We're having a good time, okay?
Okay.
A good time.
We like each other very much.
So they came over, and it was one of those things where I'm really excited to have you guys on here because I feel like it's probably torture for you guys a little bit
Oh, I'm excited. I'm having a good time.
because they shoot and edit, which is just kind of mostly everything nowadays,
Susan does mostly.
with the exception of
all of them.
podcasts. And so I said, hey, you're going to come on here. I'm going to hit record, and then it's not until it's done, right? And so
pretty big
as you
deal.
can see, They really do love each other. They really do bicker back and forth,
true.
and they really are the Babushka sisters. Okay, they really are.
The real deal.
That's our charm.
No, but okay. So you guys came over. I gave you the
Yeah.
crap. Yada yada yada. When you guys took off, I'll totally give you my thoughts. Like
Okay.
no joke.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So okay, I've
Okay.
seen some of the stuff you've done, and definitely impressed.
Mm.
The stuff, the way you got, you're like, wow, what a great compliment. No, but you guys do it. A lot of the stuff has been like decorative or something like maybe not purely decorative, but the tone that you guys brought with the item, like the stuff you did for on top of that table. I can't remember what you turned into, but it was very decorative, and I was like, oh, that's really good workmanship. I don't know if it's gonna fit in my bachelor pad with like nothing on the walls and like just couches and stuff like that. Too
Home
many couches.
decor is what we usually do.
Yeah. So I was a little bit. I was like, I don't know how to. Are they gonna try to like do it for a guy, and then it's gonna be like really weird?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't know where you're going with that, and
Yeah.
you guys. And then you texted me halfway through or whatever. You're like, hey, does it even have to be a bookshelf anymore? Which I was like waiting until you said that because I was like, there's no way you could fix this up. Like it's already.
We got the stuff home, and Paula and I immediately just
It's coming
we
apart.
demo our items, and then we're like, I texted or messaged to Steve, and I was like, can this be demoed? Pretty much. Am I allowed to?
Can you take a sledgehammer to it
Yes.
and turn it into a pencil?
Mhm.
Yeah, because there's no way anybody needs a swivel TV stand anymore.
No.
And the bookshelf
Yeah.
was falling apart.
It was falling apart.
I've got great footage
Yeah.
of just tapping it, and the back just goes just falls off of it.
So okay.
Yeah.
What when you guys were like, hey, like, thank you so much, Steven. I had a great time. Close the door. The thing's in the back of your car. Obviously, it's particle board and everything like that.
I was pissed.
Were you pissed? Your arms are crossed. That tells me a lot about your body.
I was pissed. No, I don't even change it. I didn't mind because I knew I could take it apart.
The truth was, we were pissed.
No, the whole drive home, I was thinking, like, what can I do with the glass part? Because they had 2 glass doors in the front.
Right.
Because when I put it in the car, like, one kind of almost fell off all the way. I was like, okay, that's not going to stay there. But, yeah, that's not going to stay like that. But, no, I wasn't pissed. It's fun. I think that's what I enjoy most about our show is trying to figure out what to do.
The
with an
repurposing
item.
factor. I think I didn't really realize what we did until a few episodes in. I'm like, you know what I like to do is just repurpose something. It was once this, and I can do this.
Right.
That's fun.
Right. She's grabbing things. But for those of you that are listening, she's taking 2 hands and really grabbing it when she's repurposing stuff. That's what's going on. She's repurposing it.
She's molding it,
So, yeah.
giving it new life.
So, okay. So you drive home, yada, yada, yada. You take it apart. You hose it off. Piece of crap. What ultimately came of it is a cornhole set from the bookshelf
Cornhole.
with the Standing Still logo, which I don't know if there's a
was
better logo with the
awesome.
exception of the Babushka Sisters. Calm
Thank
down,
you.
Susan. Look at that. I saw you had it holstered from the second you sat down. My goodness, Susan. So, okay. A cornhole set from the book with
the
my
bookshelf.
logo from the bookshelf. Yes. Turned out great.
Thank you.
And
That was fun.
a light up. You took the glass.
Really?
And
Yes.
obviously I put pictures, but you took the glass.
Yes.
You had the wheels, and then you etched in.
Glass etching.
Glass etching. You etched in glass etching. You etched in the Standing Still logo again,
Glass
like by
etching.
hand. You didn't print it out.
I did.
Oh, she freestyled this
I
logo.
first freestyled it, and it turned into like crap. And Eric's like, "That doesn't look straight." Eric's my husband, by the way.
Who is an artist?
There's always the
He's an
husband
artist.
breathing down on
I
neck
know.
saying, that doesn't look good.
He's like, "That's not straight." I'm like, "No, it's not," because I
you
tried to go the
babushka
fast
it.
way.
Right.
So I try to like make it look a little better by putting tape on it and making it a little straight.
Yeah.
And that's still kind of janky, I would say. But
I think it looks fantastic.
okay.
In fact, I don't think I've seen a better etching job on a piece of glass in my life,
you're
Paula.
too kind.
In his whole life. Did you hear
Have
that?
you seen any etching job before this?
Yeah, no, I've turned a blind eye to every other etching job. I'm not gonna lie, Paula. But
What I like about Paula's piece is that she incorporated the wheels this thing was on.
Yep.
You could totally recognize where it came from, you know.
Yeah. Well, when you first plugged it in, it didn't work, though.
Well, hang on.
Gave me a freaking heart attack.
Hang on. Luckily, the person you're giving it to is an electrician, and so I took it out and re-plugged it back in, everybody, and it worked just beautifully.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you think about that when you made him an electric piece?
I didn't until Eric mentioned. I think Eric mentioned it. Like you're losing. Yeah. He's like, oh. made a comment about your electrician. I'm doing electrical work on this piece I'm supposed to give to him. I'm like, shoot. I bought this $2 light set from Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is going to work great.
Did you
It'll
get that
last
from Amazon? The
I
little
did.
LED light?
Yeah.
It looks legit.
Yeah, I like
It
it.
looks good. No, so I'm totally going to use that stuff for some
Wow.
future public marketing stuff I got kind of lined up. We were talking about that earlier.
Mm.
First of all, how long have you guys been doing it? When did you guys start Babushka Sisters? Let's just tell, because I feel like one of the brilliant things that you guys do have is like, man, it's super entertaining and like boom, bang, bang. Like every scene needs to be there and is put there on purpose. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Which is with the huge benefit, not only of your talent and skill and beauty, but you guys are my cousins, and it's
Keep
very,
going.
very weird for me to say that. But that's one of the talents. Or what am I trying to say? It's one of the beautiful things about editing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is you can really choose and order and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
It's
Susan,
really my favorite
as a-
part. Of the
Susan
whole thing.
does
Yeah.
all the editing right now.
Right.
If it wasn't for her, it wouldn't be done.
You'd be nothing.
I'd
You
be-
read nothing. I could tell that there's like arguments that have happened
No.
from that, dude.
There
She's been
aren't.
very kind and very patient with me. I just don't have time.
Oh no.
Times
I need to make time.
Editing, you know, editing.
editing
forever.
is
It's crazy.
it's very cool when it's like, okay, I'm at the part where the creativity is at, like, oh, let's do this. Everything else is like, okay, this needs to upload
Yeah.
now.
Oh.
Okay, this needs to do this. Okay, this do like, yeah. It
And
takes
Susan's the
days for
talker,
me.
too.
Anyways, okay, we can get into editing on a special subject on a future episode. But so okay, this is the reason why I'm going there is now. Not only do I have the opportunity for you guys to come on, other creators, but I think you guys have the opportunity in me because I think a lot of your fans are clamoring for the Babushka story. So let's tell it.
Oh, that's right. Babushka story.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
It's
You
been
guys
a year
start.
to
Here it
this
is.
day.
Yeah, we
It's
officially
been almost
started
a year.
ago,
October.
but I like to say we started at birth. Wouldn't you?
Maybe 10 years old. Birth.
I like to take it back to.
I'll edit that out. Don't
We-
worry. Don't worry
Thank you.
about it.
Because
Thank
that's a little
Don't worry
creepy.
about
Uh, we grew up in a super old house, and we had free reign of a pile of wood. Of
Who's older?
Tools,
Who's older?
stuff.
I'm older by only 13 months,
13 months.
but she's taller.
The cool thing about 13 months is it's more than a year.
Yeah.
So she made the decision to say 13 and not a year and a month.
That's right.
There you
Says a
go.
lot about your character, Susan.
Oh, I know.
A lot about your
I
character.
know.
Picking you apart.
Okay, so you lived in a very old house.
Yes.
It was awesome. Old craftsman style house.
And we totally geeked out on this old house with Norm Abram,
Right.
Paula's childhood crush.
Or Abram.
Norm Abram, oh, makes her blush to this
Okay.
day.
Everybody who's not Norm Abram is like, okay, let's move on. Like, who cares about Norm Abram?
Does anyone know who he is anymore?
Oh my gosh, that is the meanest thing you've ever
Really?
said, Susan.
I was thinking I was dating myself and with my age, you know. Like, oh,
I don't even know who that is.
oh, see?
Okay.
But anyways, okay,
Who are
so were you guys just like allowed to run free reign on this stuff?
Yes.
or-
Pretty much.
Oh, tell the story about
I
when you were 13.
know.
You wanted more space in your bedroom.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was a different house. I know. We had this,
Yeah.
another really old house.
Yeah.
And it had 2 windows and this another third massive window
Mm-hmm.
in the closet. I'm like, why is this massive window hiding in the closet?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, can I knock down the closet wall,
Mommy.
mother? And she said, yeah, sure. So I was like, okay, I'll knock down this lath and plaster 100-year-old wall.
She knocked down a closet at the age of 13, right?
I wasn't 13. I was
You-
a lot older than that.
I barely knew how to tie my shoes at 13.
Oh,
Yeah.
but yeah, we've been using like.
So you've always had the
old stuff.
curiosity.
Oh,
Who, okay,
Yeah, and our mom loved thrifting, so we'd go with her on
Yes.
all the thrifting trips. And yeah.
who is the most? So would you say like, oh, she was the most curious, like right away from like tinkering with stuff?
Oh yeah, Paula is.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you. I will admit right now, she will be my stunt double on a lot of videos because
Really?
I will just, you have it. I just,
She
have
just
to-
wants to hear you
I
say it.
have-
Oh my
I
gosh,
know.
really? Say it
I
again.
have to 911 her a lot because I'm like, I messed up. I don't know where to saw. I don't know how to do this. And Paula's always right there, like, I'll do it for you. I'm like, can I drop this off? Here's my vision. Work on it.
You're probably better with your hands than I am, and I'm an electrician for a
Yeah.
living.
Oh heavens no!
So okay,
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
you-
we've always tinkered with stuff
Mhm.
since we were very young.
But she's
Thrifting.
definitely the handyman of the two.
so you've got the kind of base foundation that is the craft itself in Paula.
Yeah.
Susan.
Oh.
Susan's fun.
We
And
do.
Susan
we do
edits.
pretty much work on our own pieces, though. Yeah,
We
each
do.
have a piece.
She
every
does her own
episode.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
But-
tell the difference
but
of
I do-
quality
For
between
sure.
the
Default
pieces,
to
you
her.
know?
No.
Quality or taste.
Both.
I
You
think
know-
there's a vast difference in taste. I
And
have
we
seen your
hold
stuff.
an open vote at the end of every single episode. You know, whose piece did you like the best?
Yeah. I think when you're also flipping a piece, when we get a piece, we try to figure out what the audience would want to see.
Yeah, we don't want to get a piece and
So-
paint it white and call it a day. We want to add some entertainment factor to each piece that
I
we
know.
flip.
Right.
You
Like
know?
one of these pieces we got last was like some really old wooden children chairs. I'm like, I really
Mhm.
don't want to paint over this old wooden chair.
Yeah.
But I did. It was so sad. Just for the who and all factor.
You're a cold
know.
woman, Paula.
Cold to
know.
history.
You know, there's so much history in these chairs. I just couldn't paint over
But
them.
I did.
I
did it
was
for you
thinking that
guys.
as I was actually stroking the paint onto the chair.
But we later had a viewer comment.
I
Did you
did it
see
for
this
you
week?
guys? What'd they say?
She has the same exact chair at home.
And she sold it for $200. on
She bought it in 1971 in Oakland, and she said it was in a vintage
Oh.
shop then. So these chairs were probably from the 1950s, and we babushka'd them.
They got Babushka.
We'll have to strip the paint off.
Babushka. Oh,
Babushka. Yeah.
Need a button. Babushka.
when did you guys, was it always like, oh, wow, like at 13, were you like, wow, that's really nifty of you, Paula, to knock down a wall? Or like, when was it like, hey, this is kind of our deal?
You know, we've already had
Yeah.
always had access to a camcorder.
Mm.
And so we were
Yes.
always filming each other from young age.
Yes,
Even like the old
true.
play school, like,
Mhm, the recorders.
cassette tapes.
We'd make fake radio shows.
So we were always going back
I
and
could
forth.
totally relate to that.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's all I do here.
huh?
I essentially, you know, when you're a kid and then you start getting older and they stop letting you build forts.
Yeah.
I never got out of that
Yeah.
phase. I just kind of built the fort here.
There you go.
Yeah,
I
it's,
love
I like
that.
your
it's a
fort.
talking fort.
Yes.
It's a talking fort. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So and I had started a YouTube channel with my family, and I wanted to do something with Paula on there, and I said, what if we did just an episode for my channel
Yes.
where we flip an item together at the thrift store? And
Yeah,
she goes,
Susan
that sounds like
called me or
fun."
messaged me
Mhm.
while I was watching an episode on HGTV of somebody flipping, and she's like, "Do you want to do a show?" I'm like,
But just an
"Yes, please."
episode for this other family channel that I had. And then I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, we need a show.
And here we are.
So, okay.
Okay.
So Susan started the show is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
She had the idea. Okay. So she had the drive and the spark to like, hey, we need a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
What route did you take? Like, oh, we're the Babushka Sisters. You know what I mean?
How did they come up with the name?
We did a lot of.
What, you know,
Brainstorming.
why not like, hey, we like something along the lines of we flip stuff.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
And people have said that too. You need to call yourselves the DIY sisters, so people know what you. But
Yeah.
you know what? Why didn't you?
Yeah, but the name doesn't. And the name doesn't make the show. The show
It
makes the
doesn't.
name.
Oh, thanks.
You know what I
That's
mean?
actually a
Amen.
good point.
Preach it.
I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Paula did the
I-
logo, which
I'm
are two
just
babushkas.
Shilling out compliments whenever I can.
Paula did the logo, which is two babushka heads,
Yeah.
Right.
and
Like Matryoshka dolls. The stacking nesting.
yeah, we grew up with a grandmother who had a thick Polish accent, and we love her dearly. Love, love, love. She's not with us anymore, but the name and the brand is really centered around her.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, hang on. I'm trying to think of how to turn this into TV talk. So,
Sure.
so for your love of the craft, right,
Mhm.
and really just the drive for YouTube, you know,
Yeah.
famosity.
Yes.
I'm really struggling here. So, and then your love for your grandmother. No, but okay. So now we're here. You're doing
Yeah.
arguably the best episode you've ever done with me.
Of
It's gotta
course.
be.
I
Because
mean,
Susan's going to edit it so awesome. I mean, yeah. That's great.
so, I mean, what I'm trying to think is, where are you guys going? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like what's our end
What's
goal?
our goal?
Oh, wouldn't it
Not
be
even- Not even an end goal. Just like, what's the attitude tomorrow of Babushka Sisters?
Oh, that's too abstract, Steve. You gotta get.
When can... What?
it's too abstract.
I'm so sorry to
Too
answer.
abstract.
When can I find time to do my babushka tomorrow? It's always that in my brain. Like, tomorrow is another
know.
day,
Yep.
and where am I going to stick Babushka Sisters
I feel that.
on top of everything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah.
But it needs to go in.
Like we have a week to thrift, to flip an item, to edit, and then to
Yeah.
post. In mom time, we're both mothers as well.
Yep.
That's really like giving us an hour of like time, where we have to squeeze
Yeah.
everything in. It's so
Mhm.
tough, and it's really all I think about and all I want to do.
Yep. I
Oh,
totally feel you on that one.
Yeah.
Between working
Yeah.
50 hours a week as an electrician
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
trying to have a social life as a 25-year-old young buck.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, what else? It's just like,
Yeah.
and then I've been doing favors for everybody doing electrical. Everybody and their mother wants you to put a ceiling fan in their room.
Oh my word.
You know
Well,
what I
we're
mean?
getting out of
know.
that season.
Yeah,
so
right.
you should.
And then
No.
you own a truck too, so
I do
everyone
own a
wants you to
truck.
help them.
Somebody, as I'm driving home from the desert, I went dirt bike riding. I've been up since 4 a.m. It's 8 o'clock now.
Oh my word.
You know how many episodes I've had to say that? But so
It's
I've been, as I'm driving back from the desert, I still have my dirt bike in the back of the truck. I haven't unloaded it yet to do this podcast. My neighbor, the Hoochie Mama, you guys have met the
I
Hoochie
know.
Mama.
It's
that
got to be
lives above
mentioned
me.
in every episode.
Yeah, Hoochie Mama above me texts me. She's like, hey, like, it's such a Hoochie Mama thing to say too. She's like, my friend just got this street bike. It's her ex's. She got it back. Can you ride it to her house? And I was like I couldn't have typed no faster. I was like, no, I've got plans.
Good for you.
Yeah, no.
What
Plus,
kind of
I've already
favor is that? Doesn't she have a garage?
right. Like I'm gonna ride a stolen bike across town. Like
Oh,
no.
no kidding.
You know, before I
Yeah.
knew about this Hoochie Mama, I met her.
Before this
passing.
Oh, that's
Hoochie Mama
right.
has
And-
been
That's
to-
right.
And
you didn't
so I
know
saw her,
Yes.
and then I was like, Steve, this woman has got it bad for you. And she's
Yeah.
being very clear about it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Just
She's.
in
I'm
passing.
25. She's
Yeah.
upper 30s now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was obvious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she didn't even look at Paula and I. We
She
were right there. It
didn't
was just
care.
all about Steve.
Well, I mean, could you blame her,
I
Susan?
know.
Come on.
Right.
No, I mean I'd gotten a little bit primped up because we were about to shoot some different things, but I can't be. What am I trying to say? I can't be responsible for the havoc that my looks create, ladies. I really can't.
It's tough out there.
She probably hears your door open and she comes out on purpose.
Yes,
That's probably what
I
happens.
gathered that. Oh, hi, Steve. Oh, you're walking out your door. Me too.
Yeah, when I'm last night I was working in the garage,
Yeah.
with my hands as
Yeah.
men do, and ladies and whatever.
And those
political
leather
correct.
For
pants.
those with hands.
Yeah, I was wearing leather pants. I fell into like a kiddie pool full of baby oil, and so I'm just
Hey, when
sitting
that
there
happens.
oiled up
Yeah.
in leather pants, and she always, instead of walking around my truck like everybody else, she like squeezes by to walk in like kind of in my garage. And
Oh,
it's like,
boy.
Mm-hmm.
right as I'm oiling up, and she's like, I see what you're doing there, lady.
Right.
I'm not putting out any indicators, and you're just coming into my garage. So I feel like the last 5 minutes have been for my listeners. Let's go back to your
No, that's
listeners.
good because I feel like you probably lost some listeners just by talking about particle board earlier.
Look,
It's
this
true.
episode is a gift. No, I'm
To
just kidding.
who? To
To you guys.
us. Aw.
So, okay. What I meant by is like, hey, Paula said, it's okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to find time?
Yeah.
Your attitude of like, when I say, what does the Babushka Sisters mean to you guys?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
So much
I
love
don't get a
here.
lot of free time, and all my free
Yeah.
time goes to Babushka Sisters.
Mhm, for
so
sure.
That says a lot.
For sure.
That does.
Yeah. I love Paula so much.
Oh,
She's
I love
my
you
sister.
too. My sister.
That's not how you say it. It's sister, not sister.
Sister. That's how you say it. How do you say it, Steven?
Sister. That's how you
Sister.
say it. You say it with a more German accent. That's how I like to do it.
Oh.
Sister.
No, okay, so like what I'm trying to okay, let me put it this way. 3 words, Babushka Sisters means what to you right now?
Nostalgia.
I get it, you guys don't have time.
Definitely nostalgia.
Nostalgia is my number
That's
one.
one creativity outlet. That's 2 words combined into one. Can we combine the word?
You're trying to cheat on the test that's like
Outlet?
for your
It's a Cree outlet.
You know what? He's got us. We haven't nailed down our brand.
sorry, I haven't either.
2 women.
You can like feel free to ask me a question too. Like I don't know either. But so
Okay, nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia.
I like creative outlet. I need a thesaurus right now. We need it to be one word.
That's okay.
that's fine. Creative outlet.
Number 3 is I want to say success. I want to say something to the fact that I would one day like to help support our family with this. I do want to use this to make a living.
Mhm.
I do.
Do what you love.
Mm-hmm.
Love.
I
what
want
you
to. I
do.
want to use my talents. I feel
Mhm.
like I have some sort of creative and entertainment type
Oh, you do.
talent,
You do.
and I'd like to use that
You're cute.
to bring home the vision.
Paula is just like cheerleading Susan.
Oh, and that's what we do for each other.
Hmm.
Mm. Yeah. Bingo.
I feel like there's a there's a sense of like, hey, you're rolling the dice, and see if you guys can agree with me.
Okay.
There's a confidence in like, I know I can do this, right? Create a successful entertainment channel, whether it be YouTube, podcast, whatever, with nothing but what I have in front of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's also a huge roll of the dice, which is also part of it.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
All wasted time.
Oh, yeah.
It is not like, hey, I'm going to school and I have a guaranteed job when I get out. Like, it's already done. They're paying for my school.
Yeah.
Like, I just have to do this.
I agree.
I do A and I get B.
Every single time I work on a piece or put some time into it, I'm like, I'm sacrificing this to do this.
Oh, yeah.
You're sacrificing something.
It's a huge sacrifice.
to do
when you
what
think about
you're
the
doing.
hours put in, and you're not probably going to see
So-
a dime for, 5+ years,
For-
and then even then, maybe $30 a month or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
big
know.
sacrifice.
But
so it better work.
It's a huge risk.
Keep editing, Susan.
So
Huge.
I have to make sure at the same time we don't lose the fun of it, and that we can at the same time look at it
I don't
as a
think
hobby.
you could ever lose the fun of it.
Nah,
No,
I
it's
hope
too
not.
fun.
I hope we don't
Right.
burn out.
I don't think so. I think love burnout. Yeah, Eric the other day, our husband asked if I was running out of ideas. I'm like, what?
No, that
No,
you can't run out
You
of.
can't run out of ideas.
You can't run out of ideas.
Nope.
Can't run out of ideas.
Do you feel the same way, Stephen? Sacrifice.
It's a
time.
huge sacrifice.
Yeah.
Around this. I mean, there's the obvious of like, whoa, how much money does it cost? One
Yeah.
thing,
Oh.
and I'll get into like the sacrificial thing, but because the whole money thing and the voice. How many people have hit you up like, hey, it bothers me. I'm one of the most helpful. Like I said, I literally I don't remember the last time I've not set an alarm for like under 5 a.m. Like I don't remember. Like weekends too. Sunday, tomorrow, I'm looking forward to not setting an alarm.
Oh my goodness.
I cannot wait for that, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying like it's because of the podcast. I'm saying like today I went to bike riding. Okay, that's recreation. But literally like all the weekends I've just been, hey, I got to go put an RV plug in for my buddy. And then I got to go do electrical for this coffee shop because my cousin's starting a coffee shop. Like it's literally, the weekends are great. But I'm sure it's as I'm getting older, the weekends are just to do different work than what pays you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so the hard thing, and it's one of the things I'm struggling with right now too, is like your passion projects, the second they become work, you push them away.
It's true.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I can't find time to edit this, dude. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this isn't fun right now. Like,
Right.
why is it not fun? What do I need to do to make it fun? Because when I think about it, it's not fun right now. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, well, you're not passionate about it? I'm like, dude, I'm super passionate about it. I would have given up forever ago if it wasn't. I wouldn't have built this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you guys too. And what I'm trying to get at is like, and I'm very helpful, when people, they'll hit you up or, they'll text you, message you, call you, even in person. And they ask you the question, and I'm like, I can already tell you're not going to either be successful, and I'm not saying that I am, but I can already tell you're never even going to start, because the question that you're asking me is like the first thing you Google. Like, you have put zero effort on your own. Like,
I know.
hey man, does it cost money to run a podcast? I'm like, yeah, it
No.
does.
You
Yeah.
just don't know.
You know what I mean? It was one of those things where I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
it drives me insane.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if you're like, I'm thinking about starting a podcast, like I've already looked up this, like what kind of microphones did you get? Like I'm trying to like look at, I'm like, dude, I'm your man. Like these are the ones I got for this reasons. I
Right.
try, you know what I mean? It depends on what your budget is, whatever. But people are like, hey, I want to start a podcast. Like, how do I, or like literally they'll just say, how do you start a podcast?
That's so annoying.
And I'm like,
And
dude.
rude too, because they're wasting your time.
But no, and that
Well, I'm like, I can
Yeah.
already tell. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, if you're not even excited enough to Google it on your own,
yeah.
like you're already putting in that little effort. You haven't even gotten
Right.
started yet.
Yeah.
And I respect you so much, Steve, because when I first caught wind that you were doing this, and then I saw how much work you were putting into it and research and savings and everything, you totally all in gung ho, and I totally have faith in your vision.
Oh, yeah.
You're really going for
Very
it. and that's so
encouraging.
cool.
Well, thank you, ladies. I think that's one of the hardest things too, is keeping the vision alive. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's probably when you have to check yourself. Like, why do I do this? That's the big question. Why am I doing this? If I'm losing sight, am I losing sight of my end goal? Why am I losing my joy here?
Yeah.
Or when it's time to like tighten the reins and like step it up a notch, how do you step it up a notch instead of just stay like stagnant?
You know what's a hard
what
balance for me is putting in that research and balancing that, like marketing research, everything with the time it takes to create the stuff. So I'm thinking, am I jumping the
That's
boat? Should I
just
be
as
spending more
important.
time doing my research? And
Right.
Right.
but I want to get started. I want to create. I want to do this. And but do I know enough yet?
You think between the two of us there would be more time to do it.
I know.
But we need to talk about that.
I hate that, and my listeners have probably heard me complain about this a lot. That I hate that, like for your YouTube channel, you have to be talented in, flipping and doing different crafts and stuff like you have. If you don't have that, you don't have the channel. However, and that's what makes you start the channel. You're like, I really love this, and this would be cool. However, the marketing creativity and talent and time and like every other aspect, not just marketing, like, okay, how do you actually film it? You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys were already like every other aspect of it has to be just as sharp for it to be successful. And yet you don't start it. You're like, I'm really good at marketing. I'm going to start a channel on flipping things. It's like, you don't start that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just go flip other people's stuff, or like you go market other people's stuff. Yeah. And so, and I've always heard that, the really artistic and creators are always terrible at business, and it's, the opposite for the other ones. But the opposite for the other ones. Look at me choose words.
Those people.
Yeah, the business people are always horrible at creating content, but they're great at running somebody's content. You know what I mean? And I guess what I'm trying to say is it's very hard to be such a classy, brilliant artiste as us three sitting in this room.
Yeah, we're awesome.
Preach it.
No, I know. I just needed to get that off my chest. I was driving like 2.5 hours from the desert, and I was just like, I cannot wait to tell somebody. No, yeah, I drove like halfway to Vegas, which was a mistake.
Oh my
to go
goodness.
for a day. Anyways, so the sacrifice. What were we talking about? Sacrifice. Oh. Yeah. Like, it's a sacrifice, but it's also one of those things where I can't imagine not being in my life.
Yeah.
I know.
Anytime I'm tempted to pull the plug on it, it brings me to tears. I just can't imagine.
It does.
It's like my baby.
It almost
now.
happened. We almost broke up.
We did. We took a break.
We took a break, and it felt like I broke up with somebody.
I was sulking. I was depressed.
It was bad.
Yeah, and we brought it back maybe 6 months later.
Yeah.
We just felt like at the time we couldn't handle it. It's
too much going on.
It's such a big thing to tackle.
Right.
It's huge.
It's hard to it's hard because sometimes you're like, I know if I did this, it would be way more successful, but then you just can't. Mostly for me, and it's probably you guys, it's just time constraints.
It is.
Like we were like, dude, you gotta put out more content. And I'm like, oh, dude, just go to work all the way across LA for 10 hours a day. Like,
right.
You leave the house at 5,
Take
get home
a
at
walk,
like
buddy.
5:30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
But
just
then
go
again,
do that for
if
me.
we did stop it, it's like, I think, what would I do with that time? It would just get consumed by all this stuff I'm already doing.
Good point.
You know, if we did stop Babushka, I'd just be like doing this stuff. Other stuff would just consume that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think everybody needs their outlet, and this is ours.
For sure.
I can't wait until that huge time. I mean, for you, it's different because it's kids. Would kids be the biggest thing? Big time constraint?
Time constraint?
Obviously,
yes.
right?
Yeah, that would be it.
You guys
I
all have young children.
One son, and Susan has 4.
Right. Which, hang on.
Holy
That's 3 more than
moly.
1 for anybody that's listening.
I'm just telling you guys.
That's a lot of kids.
I could barely do it. I don't know how she does it.
What I'm saying is like, hang on, I totally lost my train of thought.
No, that's okay.
Kids, yes.
Basically, I can't, because of the nature of the work also, power tools, paint, I can't even work on this stuff until my kids are asleep. And I homeschool my kids, so that's what I'm doing during the day. And then there's a nap, I can't work on it. So they're asleep, they go to bed at night, and then I've got this hour-and-a-half window to edit and create my stuff. And then I have to spend time with my husband, of course. I have to nurture that relationship. So so it's I'm just like, it's that window. If anyone calls me or texts me or anything, I'm just like, blinders. I have to be working on this right now.
Right.
A lot of late lights.
Yeah. How many hours of sleep do you guys usually get a night?
Ooh, I go to bed like around 11:30, 12. My alarm goes off at 5:30, but I hit snooze till 6.
Yeah, for sure.
I get 5 hours.
Yeah.
I think that's typical for a mom.
Yeah, 5.5 is usually what I get.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, yeah, moms, go. Here we go.
No.
But 5.5. I think what I was going to try to say, I remember my thought. For you guys, it's kids, so it's a great thing in itself. Obviously, it's a lot of time, but it's a great thing in itself. For me, it's obviously my job, full-time job.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that huge thing that just sucks all your time. I can't wait for that to be this.
I know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know it.
Right.
I hate that. I hate pain.
It'll happen, though.
I know it will.
Yeah.
Especially,
and that day
you continue
celebrate.
at this rate, Steve, I swear.
Yep. That cornhole.
Swear to that. How profound was
You
that?
guys heard it, Babushka Sister ladies, all your
called
fans.
it.
She just sweared on my show.
You gonna beep that out?
Don't forget when you leave, you gotta put a little something in the swear jar. But every 25-year-old male has one on the top of their fridge.
Oh my gosh, that's how you keep this business afloat.
Yeah, right. It's actually my life savings because everything I have goes into there. But
Oh my goodness.
no, well, yeah. What is like the biggest? Like, so you're getting an hour and a half. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, what do you guys? What do you guys do to stay content? I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Is it because sometimes I'm like, I hate when you're just really, really working and it feels like you're not going anywhere, man. And then there's sometimes where I feel like you barely work and everything just falls in your lap. But it's very, very, very little that
Yeah.
happens.
Oh, no, it's frustrating.
You know what I mean? Are you content with the hour and a half a night?
No. It
We
drives me crazy.
need more. And like, I seriously finished this piece we just brought to you, Steven, like an hour before I
Me
got
too.
here.
Me too.
And it broke before. I was like,
Oh,
now I
yeah.
have to redo it.
She tipped it over.
I tripped over the freaking cord and the lights just pulled out. And so thank God I had
she
another.
almost canceled.
I know. I
Really?
was like, what am I
You
going to
would've been
bring
back
here?
from Vegas. Like,
I'd be like driving,
Thankfully.
running late. I'm like, Paula, this is unacceptable. I've been waiting all day for this.
But I persevered.
yeah.
I had 5 more minutes left.
You know, that's one awesome reason why I love you as a partner because you are not a flake. I can depend on you.
Oh, can you? I feel like I'm
Oh,
a
yes.
flake.
No.
Okay.
With
that's good to
editing,
hear.
you're a flake.
Yeah, I don't even know how to edit yet.
But
I tried for like 3 minutes. I said, this is.
no, that's hard.
It's a slow burn with
Yeah.
editing,
Oh
for
my
sure.
No,
gosh.
and that's why I'm so patient.
I don't know if my computer can handle it.
All right, guys. Well, okay. Here's what I like to ask
Okay,
sometimes.
let's do it.
Before we wrap this thing up,
Mm-hmm.
some of the times when I'm running the show, people, I finish it and they're like, dude, I was totally going to ask you this. I just
Oh.
didn't think about it.
Hmm.
So is there anything you guys want to ask me
Yeah.
Oh.
before we end this thing?
Shoot.
When you do find that special lady in your life,
I
Have you-
cannot wait for this question.
have you envisioned? Has anyone asked you this? Have you envisioned adding that whole other person element to this? What that balance will be with the show and with.
You mean like me as like a serious relationship or
Yeah.
married with this?
You know what? You just need a mail order bride.
Here's the thing.
Get someone who doesn't know English.
From Poland, I'm assuming you're
From
thinking.
Poland.
And then we could add her onto our show.
New cousin.
Let's stop thinking about realistic details now. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I've got the schedule of a 45-year-old married man. I'm just not married.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wake up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
go to work, come home, maybe cook dinner. I like right now working 10-hour days all the way on the other side of LA. I pretty much have like I can eat dinner and maybe do one thing. Like, going riding this weekend, I got 45 minutes into like tinker on my dirt bike to get ready.
Right.
Like I cleaned the air filter on my dirt bike and then I ate dinner and then I had to go to bed to get 5 hours.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so it's like either I can start doing it's like so I get to pick one thing a day.
Mhm.
And that I literally live my whole life like eating. I love food. It's like little mini vacations. I've heard that before. Like it's great. You know what I mean? Which is also hard because that's the convenience factor of like eating bad. Like when I'm
Right.
really, really busy, the first thing to go is like eating good because
Mhm.
then that whole like 45 minutes I do get or an hour.
Right.
Now I just spend an hour and a half, an hour like meal prepping and everything like that. Like
Exactly.
that whole day just disappeared. Like I literally just worked and cooked food.
Mhm.
Like I just survived that
Why
day.
does cooking take so long?
I hate living to survive.
You need a crock pot, sir.
I do have a crock pot.
Okay.
But don't try to tinker on me, ladies.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
What was the question again?
Oh,
don't
Oh,
know.
with a lady.
yeah,
okay.
yeah. How do you envision
So,
that balance? Adding a
I've
lady.
had women come into my room, and it's very like you can't just walk them in to a bunch of cameras and tripods and like
Oh,
studio.
yeah.
You have to tell them before.
'Cause his
Yeah.
bed is right there.
My bed is right on the other side of that curtain, ladies, and
Mhm.
so you have to let them know that. As far as maybe getting in a serious relationship, they have to be on board. It's very, very hard because it's like, hey, I'm an electrician, you know, it's and I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Like, look I got into this career because I wanted money and I wanted stability and I wanted a great career with a good future, and I got every single thing that I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
But what I realized is that I didn't know what I wanted, and that's what I'm not getting is I have zero passion for it. So like I said, I'm living the whole day to survive, and then I get 45-minute window to work on passion project,
Yeah.
whether it be doing something on my dirt bike or editing the podcast or yada, yada, yada.
Right.
I get like a 45-minute hour window a day. And then I'm super burnt out or I'm doing favors on the weekend.
Sounds about right.
But you
You know
want
what I mean?
marriage and kids, right?
Of course I
Okay.
do.
What age do you have? Like, oh, I have this goal too, just like
She's
my
getting
passion project.
details.
Hannah.
You don't
Like
have
an
to
age
answer
person?
I'm breaking it.
any of this.
An age person?
No,
like,
like-
oh,
no,
I
no.
like by 30 I want to be
no.
married type of thing?
Yes. Are you like, this is my goal. I'd love to have my first kid at 32 or, whatever.
I'd like to be married like late 20s.
Oh,
Like,
that's soon.
like within 3 to 4 years. Right now, I've also discovered though, because it's the scary part, to be honest with you, is like a year from now, 2 years, I have no idea what it looks like income wise, because like I said,
Mhm.
I'll be a journeyman electrician in like 10 months, which is good.
Mm,
Yeah, that's
congratulations.
awesome.
However, like I said, I'm living a life where it's the whole entire day is to survive for that 1 hour.
Right.
I'm living for 1 hour a day,
And there'll be that day
Which
where you have
is-
to make that jump.
as you can imagine, is torture.
So any regrets?
Any regrets?
Yeah. My goodness,
Would
she
you
has
do it all?
multiple questions
Would you
for
do
you.
it all over again?
No, no.
She's
Like
different.
if I wasn't that job produced this. If
Yeah.
I was something like maybe slightly passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would have had the.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because I'm not the type of person that starts one of these. I'm not the type of person that like learns everything, changes, like total commitment. Like, hey, we're gonna do this. Put myself out there.
Right.
We're doing it. I'm not that type of person. However, being in that position, like I said, imagine coming home and not having a passion project.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you're literally
Yeah.
your whole life is just surviving with no passion.
That sounds so depressing.
It's very depressing.
Mm.
So this is the outlet for that. And like I said, I would love for that hour to expand until the
Yeah.
whole day
It
or
would.
most of the day.
Have you ever thought about a tiny house?
A tiny house?
What does
Yeah.
that have to do with anything?
You don't have much rent. You just live in a tiny house.
I can
So
afford to
cute.
move into
You
a
have
bigger place.
land you could go to. We all know that. Everybody in the family.
Montana?
Yeah.
Montana is what I'm talking about. You move your tiny house on the land, and you just do this. And your
I
parents
have-
will go, Steve, what are you doing out there?
If I
You know,
can
my passion.
scrunch up like just enough money to get by, I
Hey,
would.
Steve, how about a houseboat?
A houseboat?
I'm just playing.
Just ultimate Charlie Sheen before he got famous, like just
Yes.
pontoon boat.
Is that what he did?
Jewel
I
lived in
don't
her
know.
car.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Just take it to that level. So you could do this.
Oh, you
I
mean
very
like
well
stop the
could.
electrician?
I mean, cut down his bills so much that he can live in a tiny house and do this.
I think it's the job that sucks up the time, is what
Right.
he's saying.
So I'm saying, is he in too deep? You have to keep going with this electrician stuff?
No,
Oh, well, get a tiny house.
not right this second.
She's giving you advice.
I don't have another option for income at this moment.
Right.
But
Well.
any other questions, ladies? Let's finish it on a high note.
Okay. I have one that's not so deep.
Okay, let's do it.
Toilet paper roll.
Oh.
Over or under?
Over 1,000%.
Thank you.
Amen.
You too?
Well, of course.
We've got another sister who
You passed the test, Stephen.
is under.
Under.
Who's under?
Kathy.
If I show up, I'm an optimist. If I show up and I go into somebody's bathroom and it's under, I go,
Mhm.
oh, somebody made a mistake.
Yes, it's a mistake.
Somebody made a mistake.
Like, oh, like somebody they must have had a guest here that didn't really care
Yeah.
because it's not their place. And then
Right.
and then I start talking. I'm like, I was watching the show and it was way down under. It was in Australia and they were making toilet paper down under. And what do you guys think? And they're like, oh yeah, down under is a great place to be. And I'm like, they did it on purpose. I just start dropping hints. I'm not gonna just come out like
Oh, that's
still
true.
buckling my pants. Like, is
Oh my
this how you guys live? Is this the kind of quality of life you guys bring to your children? No, I'm over for sure.
That's good to hear.
Okay, I guess we'll end it on that. We'll go from
Yes, and please visit us at Babushka Sisters
Babushka
Yeah.
Sisters. Check it out. All
on
right.
YouTube.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Peace out.